Yo, this shirt got a stain on it and it won't come out. It's crazy. It's crazy because I don't know why and I don't know how to get it out. And it seriously won't come out. So we're gonna change it up. We're gonna change it up. I'm still kind of blurry. That's the problem. Well, not too blurry. Like my camera's 4K, but it's focusing on the mic and not me, and I don't get it. CNN. I gotta like lean back or whatever. It's not gonna focus properly. It's really annoying me, and I don't know how to adjust it mid. I guess I can just zoom in. That works too. And then lower this. Why is it not going lower then? There we go. That works, actually. I just adjusted the zoom in and out a little bit, but we gotta go over some things today because draft is later on today, man, and um I'll be at work, so I don't really have time to talk about it later. So right now is the best time for me to discuss it, and that's what I plan on doing. Just trying to make sure everything is set up perfectly because we got some things to talk about. Rockets extended what's his name? Fred Van Fleet. He got a 2-year deal. He will sign a 2-year deal, 50 mil to stay. So 25 mil per year. That is what they needed. To keep Van Fleet is gonna be good for them. Of course, once they got KD, you already could assume that they were gonna keep him regardless of anything. They needed a point guard. Now I say they need another point guard, a backup. Reed Shepard is not the ideal point guard. I don't think he's a little undersized. We'll see how that goes. Maybe they put Amen there or something like that. We'll see what their future holds. But them keeping Van Fleet, it has to. They have to. They have to. I'm also seeing reports that the Celtics are receiving a lot of calls for what's his name, Jaylen Brown. Now, should they trade him? I don't think so. I don't think so. Separating Jaylen Brown and Tatum this early, it just now that they won a championship, maybe people were harboring for it in the past, but now that they won a championship, it just doesn't make sense. Especially with Tatum out for the season, for majority of the season, you kind of need to coast in. I feel like why trade Jaylen Brown and keep Derek White? That just doesn't make sense. So keep Jaylen Brown if you want to blow up the team because you gotta get under the apron because what they're doing right now is this is something that the Nuggets GM was talking about yesterday when everybody was freaking out about him randomly bringing up trading Jokic. Just if your team gets injured and you have a bunch of guys that have big contracts and you know you can't win this year, you just basically you're losing out on money and you're fucking your future up because now you don't have the draft capital to prepare yourself for when these guys aren't going to be able to perform that way anymore. And the Celtics realize that, and that's why they're making the trade. That's why they traded Porzingis. That's why they traded Drew Holiday. But they still have Derek White on a pretty big contract. They did give Pritchard an extension, and they got JT and Jaylen Brown. So they still have they still have a lot of money over there as far as contracts wise, and they don't have a bright future at least for this year. Who knows with next year? But the thing is, they're gonna have to position themselves because Al Horford is probably gonna retire next year, and even if he doesn't, I just don't see Al Horford being the same way he's been since last year and the year they won the chip. Like he's getting older and older, so you're gonna need a big now. Eventually, what's good, Bruno? You're gonna need a point guard. Even though they got Derek White and Pritchard, like they need another point guard. They need a power forward. They just need. You understand nothing? We talking basketball right now. They just need something. They need something to position their team and to put them in the next spot because they're in a weird spot right now. They're not a contender without Tatum, and they're not a rebuilding team. They're in the mid, and that's why all these teams are calling and asking about Jaylen Brown. But I don't think they trade him. I don't think they should trade him at all, but who knows? Who knows what might happen? We might see a blockbuster trade when the draft starts. I don't know. That's what makes the drafts interesting, because it can be crazy and can go anyways. I have to do a quick stream today, by the way. I saw a report. Ace Bailey's camp has said that they do not want him to be drafted by the Hornets or by the Jazz. So here's the thing about that. If Ace Bailey's camp, first of all, Ace Bailey was projected to go number 3 pick in this draft to the 76ers. And if his whole purpose, or his whole camp's purpose, this entire draft of not working out with any teams is that so that he doesn't go to these bad teams, why the fuck did you not meet up with the 76ers then? That don't fucking make sense. You know you're not the number 1 pick. You know you're not the 2nd pick. Dylan Harper is over you. Anybody's taking Dylan Harper over you. Sorry. And that's the Spurs. The Spurs don't. Well, the Spurs probably could use Ace Bailey. Why not meet with them? If there are teams, if you don't want to fall to these terrible teams who have, bro, the 4th pick is the Hornets, the 5th pick is the Jazz, the 6th pick is the. Let's check the draft order again. I have a picture of it as my thumbnail on YouTube, but let's check the draft order again, because this, like, just seeing this report is fucking stupid. It doesn't make sense what their thought process is then, because it's like, okay, you don't want to get picked up by these bad teams, but later on in the lottery, there are a lot of fucking horrible teams that you don't, like, it doesn't, what are we talking about, man? What you think you're going to fall outside of the lottery? Bro, the Nets have the 8th pick. Like, you don't want to go there, right? If you don't want to go to the Hornets or the Jazz, you want to go to the Nets? Like, I'm kind of confused on what exactly is the goal here. Like, I'm going to share my screen. Here y'all go. So, look, we can actually edit this up a little bit more and make this wider for the stream. I'm good, Bruno. I'm good. I'm gonna enlarge this. So if you look at the draft, right? Ace Bailey's camp reportedly does not want to get drafted by the Hornets or the Jazz. That's his camp. I don't know about him, but his camp says that, right? So you got the Mavericks. They're not picking him up. Spurs, it's possible, but I'm pretty sure they're going Dylan Harper or they're trading the pick away. 76. Now, if they trade this, if the Spurs do trade this pick away, maybe Ace Bailey gets drafted by whoever trades for it. Same thing with the 76ers. 76ers can still take him. I think they're a relatively decent team to want to go to. You don't want to go to the Hornets, right? You don't want to go to the Jazz. So you tell me you want to go to the Wizards? No, right? That'll just, you tell me you want to go to the Pelicans? You sure you want to join that? No, right? Like, that, it look bad over there. You want to go to Brooklyn? The Nets? Hell no. Unless that's you want your own team. That's what you want. And why not just go to the Jazz? You got your own team there. So I'm going to assume that you don't want to go to the Nets. You want to go to the Raptors and join RJ Barrett, Scotty? You want to do that? Or you want to go to the Phoenix? Like, it's not really making sense. Trailblazer, like, there's not many fucking better options unless we're talking about location-wise, locale, like where he would love to play in, maybe Chicago or something like that, or Atlanta, Joy Train Young with the 13th pick. But this concept of avoiding and skipping out on the meetings and not talking to any of the teams, you don't control your future now. You don't. And to say, oh, I don't want to get, or for the camp to be saying, oh, we don't want him to go here, why the fuck did you not make teams know that ahead of time? Because now they don't know anything about you except that you won't meet. So it's a negative because it's a negative impact on your draft stock. Because all they're seeing is, oh, you don't want to be with us. That's what every team is seeing. No team is seeing your interest and where you want to go. So how is somebody going to draft you if they don't have any interest in you? Now, this is coming off of just the reports. There may be a situation where he already has a deal going on. Somebody already gave him the confirmation, yo, we're going to draft you. 76ers could have did that already. Yo, we're going to draft you with the number 3 pick. Don't even worry about nothing. We got you. They could have did that already. Who knows? But as it's looking right now, it's not looking too good. Like, it's looking like his camp is just making the wrong moves. It's kind of crazy to me. Like, I get the whole bet on yourself thing, but there's a difference between betting on yourself and putting yourself in good positions. Big difference between that, and it just feels like he's not putting himself in those good positions as of right now. Right now, and I can blame the camp for that. I can blame potentially him being young or whoever is putting him on to these things. So I don't know though, and I'm not 100% sure what's gonna happen with it, but man, I don't know. It's a tough situation. There's a Fantastic Four trailer release that has nothing to do with NBA and draft and stuff. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get on here real quick, have some more conversation about what's gonna happen in the draft. I'm looking forward to it today. I don't know if we're gonna see any blockbuster trades. If we do, I will do a reaction to it after. Of course, I do have work later on today, so I won't have time to really be on here. But look, yep, Houston Rockets. Fred VanVleet signs a 2-year, $50 million contract to stay with the franchise with a player option, which I'm pretty sure he had already had a player option this year, so he's probably going to decline it and accept a new one. He's with Clutch Sports as well. Goddamn, Rich Paul is probably the best agent ever. Ever. Bro gets his players paid. For real. Like, he lines it up. Then again, VanVleet's original contract, I think, was worth a little bit more than that. Maybe. I think he was getting paid like 30 mil. But this helps the team out a lot. He's ranked 7th in assisted turnover ratio. And has averaged 35 minutes in each of that. That's probably where Rich Paul went out there. And look, he's a good point guard. He defensively, not the greatest. Him and Kevin Durant out there on defense is going to be looking bad. But they got Amen there to try to help on the wings. But they need another wing defender. Tari Eason is good, but they need another one. Especially since they traded Dylan Brooks, they need another wing defender, another guy who can go out there and assist in that role. And I don't know if Cam Whitmore is that right now. Cam Whitmore is like a highlight reel type of player right now. I don't know about defensively how he's going to look on the court. Let me look at the roster because I can't remember all the players they have. NBA. Let me just look up contracts again. I was using this one yesterday, right? Teams. Bruh. What the hell? Houston. KD is not on here yet. Still Jalen Green. But yeah, he declined. Oh no, yeah, he was about to make 44. He declined this to take 25 instead, which is good for the team. Really good for the team. So Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore. I don't know who. Jonathan. Is that supposed to be Jonathan? That says Gene. Jonathan Williams. I don't know who he is, but he was a rookie. He clearly they picked him up last year from the looks of it. Yeah, they drafted him. Tari, Jock Lando, they still got on roster. Jabari, yeah, they need another defensive wing. Especially since they gave rid of Dylan Brooks. They need some guy who can help Amen on there defensively and really lock up out there to protect. Because with Steven Adams, they got the paint under control. Maybe get another forward or just have Jabari Smith lock in defensively this year. I think they'll be fine. They're missing one more guy. They probably can get it in the draft. Do they have a pick in the first round? No, they traded away their pick to the Suns. Suns have 2 first-round picks now. Yeah, the Rockets don't have a first-round pick anymore. So they're either gonna get somebody in free agency, or who's the upcoming free agents? Matter of fact. We know Brook Lopez is going to be a free agent this year. Don't know where he's going to sign to. Let me fix this. I got a lot of stuff on my desk. I'm moving soon, so my desk is kind of cluttered with stuff. It's a lot of things that are in the way right now. Precious Achua is gonna be a free agent. Santi Aldama, but I think he's a restricted free agent, right? Yeah. Nikhil, Marvin Bagley. I mean, I don't really see a lot in the free agency. Bobo is a free agent. That's gonna be interesting. I think the team is gonna pick him up. Yeah, moving is hard. Moving is hard. Tony Bradley, Jalen Briggs. I mean, shit. Who's here? Do the Rockets have any restricted free agents? Not really. Maybe they'll bring back Jayshawn Tate. He was decent for them when he was getting some PT. Kind of decent. Only 5 years. They can probably get him a small contract. Bring back. Damn, Jeff Green is 38. Wow. Didn't realize that. Maybe they bring back Jayshawn Tate. Because besides that, I don't really see many like forward options for them. You got Sarge, like nah. Yeah, Miles Turner is a unrestricted free agent. I wonder what's gonna happen with him. I didn't even know he was a free agent. I thought they could trade him. He's a free agent. Maybe a sign and trade. Rockets could pick up PJ Tucker if he still wants to play. I know he said he still wants to play. If they will give him minutes, is the real question. Because who knows? Ben Simmons is up there too. Ben Simmons and KD reuniting? Don't know. Duncan Robinson, hell nah. Nas Reed on the Rockets? I don't think so. Julius Randle has a player option. I think he's going to take that from in Minnesota. Tarian Prince. I don't really see many good options for them in free agency. I don't really see many good options in free agency, period. To be honest, I don't know if this is a good free agency right here. This is looking kind of trash. Who averages the most? Kyrie already is re-signing. LeBron, he's probably going to take his player option. Cam is restricted. He's staying there. James Harden is definitely going to resign. John Collins, he has a player option. I think he's going to take it. Same thing with Julius Randle. Malik Beasley is probably going to get a new contract with the Pistons. We don't know what Miles Turner is going to do. There are teams that are interested in Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know what the Warriors are going to do. Maybe a sign and trade because they don't seem like they want him. Well, at least Steve Kerr won't play him, so who knows? I think Kelly Oubre is going to go back to the 76ers. Same thing with Quentin Grimes. Well, he's a restricted free agent. Same thing with Giddey. They're not leaving. Trey Mann is going to get re-signed. Nas Reed. We got to see what options he got available out there. Who knows? Van Fleet already re-signed or agreed to do it. Bobby Portis is probably going to stay with Milwaukee. I don't see him leaving. Russell Westbrook, I think they said that he was going to stay. I don't think he should leave either. That might be the best fit for him. Schroeder, he might get re-signed too, like a 2-year deal or something like that. Probably not be too expensive, but I think that he did decent as a backup guard for them, and he doesn't get in the way of Cade. So that'd be a decent pickup for them. Brook Lopez, I don't know what happens with Brook Lopez here. In this year, like a shooting old big man who, like, if any team picks up a big man who can't defend anymore or it just stands on the 3-point line all day, I don't know who would fit that. Maybe Pacers. They can essentially swap Brook Lopez for Miles Turner. The thing is, Pacers are an offense that like to get out and run, and Brook Lopez doesn't fit that though. Neither did Miles Turner. And the reason why he didn't perform well on the team is because he couldn't hit his shots. Simply put, but Brook Lopez, who knows if he can hit his? So I really don't know where he goes or what options he have available this year. The Wagner brother, he's staying in Orlando. He ain't leaving. Malcolm Brogdon is a free agent, huh? Did he have like a player option or something? No, he's just a free agent. I think Malcolm Brogdon will be a decent pickup on a team that needs a point guard. Actually, wow, I didn't realize that he was available. And what teams can use like a Malcolm Brogdon? Indiana. Brogdon to Indiana and replace a Halliburton? And then when Halliburton comes back, them two? Well, they already got TJ, but they do need a point guard. And he's capable of starting. He plays point first like Hallie. He can shoot on occasion. I don't see the problem with it. I don't see the problem with it. I'm gonna go because you're exhausted and got off work. All right, Bruno, I'll catch you later. I don't see the problem with Brogdon to Indiana. I actually think that'd be a decent pickup for them to try it out, like 1 year deal. He can also go to Miami too. Miami is not even a bad option for him either. So, D'Angelo Russell is also a free agent. There's a lot of okay. There's some decent amounts of There's not like blockbuster free agent pickups, but there's some decent ones. Ty Jerome, he's gonna get re-signed with the Cavs. They're gonna pick him back up. Aldama's not leaving unless they trade him. I think Lonnie Walker. I don't know how many options he has this year. He's 26 though, same age as me, so he got time. Karis LeVert. Hmm. I don't think he works in Atlanta. I don't know. Due time for restricted free agent. Chris Middleton already picked up on that option. Gary Trent. The problem with Gary Trent is he kind of played his way into a new contract at the tail end in the playoffs, but he also played his way out of it by just letting the ball drop through his legs, which was crazy. So I don't know about Gary Trent. He's going to have to just go out there and just try to prove it for somebody. Maybe the Lakers pick him up because we can use another scorer. Hopefully. Spencer Dinwiddie. Mavericks might pick him back up because they need a point guard. The Mavericks, that's the team that needs a point guard because Kyrie's out. Brogdon can go to defensively. That would be terrible though. Brogdon, Clay. We still got PJ on there. They brought the pickup Cooper Flag today. I don't know, man. Duncan Robinson. Tim Hardaway Jr. Where can Tim Hardaway Jr. land if he's not going back to the Pistons? Like, is there a team outside of the Pistons that want to pick up Tim Hardaway? It's like these young teams are going to want some veterans, right? Some loose contracts that they can potentially. The thing is, he's 33. So if you're signing Tim Hardaway Jr., you're not signing him to like a 3-year 30. Well, you probably take him on a 3-year 30 mil because that's 10 mil per year, and then you can flip him for something else next year. That's essentially what you would do because he's a decent shooter, averaging 11 points, so he can hit some knockdown threes. If the Pistons don't re-sign him, then he's gonna go to a young team. No, I don't think he's built for a championship team. And the current championship teams are, well, of course, OKC again. And they're young, which is crazy. So you don't want to put whatchamacallit on there. I don't know where he goes. Maybe Milwaukee. Milwaukee actually can use a Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, he's old, but it is what it is. Yabusele, maybe he'll get another run. I'm just trying to see who else. Like, look for bigger names than what we're seeing right now. And I don't really see any much bigger names. Clint Capella is gonna find a team this year. 31 years old, not the oldest, and still a decent rebounder. So he's gonna find a team. Hopefully the Lakers pick him up because we could use a big. Chris Paul. Chris Paul hasn't announced his retirement, which is kind of shocking. Does he want to give it another year? But the thing is, with them trading for De'Aaron Fox and the way Castle's been playing, Chris Paul is not going to come back. He was a good vet for Wemby, but they're pushing themselves more into the we want to compete, and I don't think he offers that for them. Especially defensively, he's just not the greatest, and he's only averaging like 8 points now. So he's 40. Does one more team give him another run? I just don't know where and when. Because Chris Paul is, for his name, he's a starter. For his production, he's a bench player. But they're not going to disrespect him and bring him off the bench. Hey, well, they did it in the Golden State, now that I think about it. And that seemed, with it. Oh, the Fever announced that they waived DeWanna Bonner and signed Ari McDonald for the remainder of the season. I could have seen that coming. Bonner was not playing good for the Fever at all. At all. And I only know that because on betting, I was taking her unders. She wasn't playing good for them. So, it makes sense. Back to the NBA, though, instead of the WNBA, which I don't know how much I'm going to be covering. I probably won't cover the WNBA that much. Dorian Finney-Smith, we can, I think he had a player option for us, right? Yeah, go ahead and pick that up, bro. 15 mil, pick that up. Don't decline it, because don't force us to pay you more. This just be fucking stupid. I already know Austin Reeves is not going to take this player option. He already said that he about to go get the bag somewhere else. Or if we can give it to him, we'll give it to him. But Dante Exum, I mean, these are like, there's a bunch of free agents, though. There's options for teams, definitely, but there are no crazy big names out there. That's what I'm looking for, and I don't see any, unfortunately. Nah. And I have this listed by points per game, so any lower you get, you just get guys who aren't scoring. So it's like, if you're not really scoring, what are you adding to the team at this point? So yeah, that's gonna be it for our coverage. For my coverage today, the draft. I'm expecting some. Well, last year's draft was kind of quiet. I don't know how this year's draft is gonna go. Who knows what the stuff is? This is the latest reports as of 40 something minutes ago. Several teams in the top 10. Oh, I'm not even showing that. My fault. Several teams, this says, in the top 10. Let me extend this out even more. Of tonight's draft are making offers to the Celtics for Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Several teams. Let's break that down. Mavericks, they're not making that offer. It says several teams, but I imagine that means the picks too, right? Mavericks are not making that offer at all. They're picking up Cooper Flag. Spurs. Can the Spurs trade for Jaylen Brown? That would be very interesting. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. That would be very interesting. What is the trade machine at? Because how much Jaylen Brown is making? 49. So they would have to cut all the entire 49. Okay. They would have to involve De'Aaron Fox on here. Or no? For Vassell first, right? So 16 mil now. They don't have to cover the full entire. They can legit do this, right? No, the Celtics have to cut 15 mil. Wait, what? Adjust. Okay. Harrison. That's weird. So if I include, that's weird, because I put the Spurs are over the luxury tax with this trade and income in aggregate category to see with the cut. Yeah. So that essentially means I'm not trading Wemby, of course, but if you put Wemby on there, yeah, it's weird how the money doesn't, like, it never adds up. You would think 48 mil, 49, this would work. But I guess Boston is so far over the tax that they can't even take a contract like this unless they trade an additional option. Now they'll have to include like, yeah, they can't do that. Wow, they actually can't do it. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything they can actually do to participate in. Damn, bro, I threw another guy in there and they said that's too much money. I don't know what the Celtics are gonna do. They're so far over the tax, they have to make another trade. Wow, I knew there was gonna be a potential another trade coming out, but I didn't realize they were that far under it. So it has to be. I would assume Derek White. Back to the Spurs is not gonna happen, but yeah, the Celtics have to make him another move. That's kind of crazy. They're under the second apron, so they're fine for now. But in the future, they're gonna have to do something and do it quick. So I don't know what the hell they're about to do. Wow, I didn't. Damn, that's kind of tough. Well, they can't. The Spurs can't do it. The 76ers can't do it. We already know that off rip. Hornets, maybe the Hornets could do it, but I don't see why they would or what the Celtics would want from that. Yeah, the number 4 pick is cool, but you trading Jaylen Brown for the number 4 pick and who? Brandon Miller? Like, nah, the Hornets ain't about to do that. So, hey, remember when everybody thought that Jaylen Brown was gonna go to the Rockets? Maybe that'll happen again. No, that shit not happening. The Wizards. Let me see. To be honest, the only team I can really think of, but the Pistons don't have a lottery pick this year. Wait, the Pistons don't have a first round pick this year. Huh. I saw a report that the Pistons aren't going to try to make a big trade and they're going to work internally. And I thought that was kind of smart because I'm like, all right, you can just get better slowly. You know, you got some young talent. You also got picks, but they don't have any fucking picks this year. So they need to make some moves. What the hell they talking about? We ain't going to do nothing. Nah, the Pistons need to make some moves. Don't waste K's time. Yeah, he just took y'all to the playoffs. Increase that, better that roster. I really, like, Jalen Duren is 50-50 on how he plays. He's not consistent. But he can still give you 10 rebounds on occasion. On occasion. Sometimes he'll give you 4. Honestly. It's kind of crazy. But he still can be a double. He can turn into a double-double guy. He just needs time. They need another number 2. Jaden Ivey is great young talent. But you can move off of him if there's options available there. They also need draft capital. The fact that they have no picks this draft is kind of bad. It is actually really bad. They're not in the lottery at all. And they're not even towards the tail end. The fact that OKC has 2 picks and the Pistons don't have any this year. Even Boston has a pick in this first round. And Pistons don't have none. They have to trade up. They have to trade for one. They have to find a way to get in there somewhere because that's not good. That's not good at all. So they have to make something work. But the Pistons is the only other team that I can think that has cap space to make that work. Because Utah could try to do it. Utah for Jaylen Brown, because simply put, Larry Markkanen's contract equals. The only problem is the Celtics are trying to get rid of this money. They don't want another 42. Like, they don't want that much money. They're trying to get rid of it. So they need a team that can move off of somebody. Like, they can take a John Collins. 15 mil. And Jordan Clarkson. Okay. That won't work then. But I know Utah can't do it either. They got too many young guys. Their contracts are worth shit right now. And you can't even give them the rookie extensions because they haven't hit into their 3rd year yet. So, Wizards, we can try it. Wizards. I mean, they just traded for CJ. They got Chris Middleton on there. Brogdon is a free agent. Brogdon was in Boston a couple of years ago, no? They already had Marcus. Our Wizards they ain't got it either. How much would they have to clear for something like that anyway? 49? Use the non or to sign a free agent, therefore their owed tax cannot exceed 6 mil at any time during the season. Oh yeah, they can't do it. And Boston is not about to take no fucking Chris Middleton. Yeah, the Wizards can't even do this. 11 mil, yeah. It's not looking good. So if, but it says several teams. That announcement says several teams right in the top 10. Oh, it also says Derek White. That's why. It also said, I was just thinking Jaylen Brown. It also says Derek White. I'm trying to look at realistic trades. Pelicans. How much is How much is DeJounte Murray making this year? Or do they want to wait till he gets healthy? He's only making 29. Damn. Oh, the Celtics used the non-tax player. Oh. The Celtics have to make these trades. I really thought it's because they don't want to be fucked for next couple of years, but no, they can't exceed. They have to trade Derek White or trade Jaylen Brown. It's a must. Even if they lose Al Horford, they're still over completely. With George Niang's contract, it helps them out a lot, but they're completely fucked. They have to push themselves outside of being a championship team. Wow. They can't make no trade where it's like this and this. Like that Porzingis trade worked yesterday for what reason? Let me see. Atlanta. Because Atlanta is under the tax line by 2 mil. That's why that Porzingis trade worked. They had a lot of cap room. Enough to flip because they had Terrence Mann on there who's taking 15 mil and then George Niang 8 mil. So they kind of subbed it out and they were still under the tax line for it. So Atlanta was able and capable of doing that because they had a little bit of space and money too. And with the contracts, a match a little bit. It is also a 3-team trade, right? Because the Nets participated in it. So in order for the Celtics have to do another 3-team trade, it looks like. Right? Because, damn, they have to trade Derek White. It's a must. I don't think they're trading Jaylen Brown, but they have to get rid of Derek White. Like, there's no other options. And since they just got Simons, that Derek White is probably going to get moved. Sheesh. All right, let's start looking at Derek White options instead. With those top 10 that the guys are trying to look for him. Suns just traded for a guard, so they're not going to do that. Raptors. Let's see what the Raptors have. The Raptors barely have some money. It has to be a 3-team trade. They can't just do 1-for-1. Yeah. Ooh. This is going to be tough. What the hell are they going to do? Because it has to be a team that actually has the space for it. Like Detroit. Look at this. Detroit is fucking... Look at this, bro. Detroit is 29 mil under the text line. These motherfuckers got space for it. You know what? I think in a 3-team trade, if they can do it, Detroit should trade for Derek White. Now, I'm only leaving Raptors on there because it said top 10. So some team in the top 10 is going to have to get involved in this trade somehow to get some type of asset for it. Because I don't think that the Pistons want to give up somebody. They probably give up Jaden Ivey to someone. What team can use a Jaden Ivey? A young shooting guard. Maybe might be able to run the point at some point in his career. He's a scorer. I don't think Brooklyn wants him because they have Chuck. Mm. Memphis. Memphis. They do have draft picks. Does Memphis actually have any picks for this year? Matter of fact, where's Memphis at as far as okay? And then Boston would need to take back. Boston would need to take like Vince Williams or G.G. Jackson or something like that, right? Vince Williams. I'm clicking the name instead of the damn thing to Boston. Try to trade. The aggregate outgoing salaries are greater than 6. Therefore, the incoming aggregate salaries must be within 5 mil of the aggregate outgoing. The incoming salaries exceed. Cut 7 mil from the Pistons, and then the Grizzlies need to cut 3 mil. Tough. It has to be a 3-team trade some way, but I can actually see the Pistons going and trying to get Derek White. That would be really good for them. Wow, actually, that would be really good for them. They're not in the lottery, but Pistons, if they can involve another team to throw some picks towards Boston's way or something like that, I don't know. They can make it happen. They should. I think they should. I think they should. That's gonna be it for the draft coverage as far as today goes. This is gonna be a lot of scenarios, a lot of things we need to look at and watch because it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens this year. There are a lot of teams. The second apron has convinced a lot of teams that they had it to make a push, and now that they don't have it and they can't make the push. Wait, whoa! New York is way further under the cap than I thought. If you look at this, let me lower that, and you guys actually can't see the number, and I didn't realize that. Look how far under they are of the tax line. That's kind of crazy. I thought they were. I guess the Jalen Brunson taking that deal, I forgot it was favorable for the team. But they will need to make a decision on who they want to keep in the future. Milwaukee, they're 10 mil over. Yeah, they're gonna have to do something because they're not gonna be able to win this year. So Milwaukee has to break it up. Boston has to make some crazy trade too. Miami surprisingly is over. So they're gonna have to make a trade. They're probably gonna move Rozier. If they can, they're probably gonna move Duncan Robinson. Atlanta just traded for Porzingis, so they're fine. They're gonna try to pick up somebody else to help that team. They'll be good. Atlanta actually looks good now. It's crazy how I was talking about them yesterday, saying they need to trade, but now they look decent. They look decent enough to go get them another player, and this team can probably do something in the East. The East is wow, because Boston is not. I don't think Boston's gonna be in contention this year. Neither is Indiana. Might coast. They might coast. Cleveland is going to be the same unless they trade Garland. Now, looking at Cleveland, they have money, but they probably want to get better because Jared Allen, we've seen his contract. Well, I can show you guys here again. This is a new stream. Jared Allen's going to be making more money. He's making the same amount this year and next year. So that for the next season, he's going to be making 20 mil. But then he pushes it to 28. And then to 30. And then to 32. He's not worth that. He's not worth that. They're going to need to move on for him. Evan Mobley's their guy. Donovan Mitchell's their guy. Garland is expendable. He's also be making 42 mil next year. They want to probably move off from him if they can. If they win this year, cool. Like, I don't think they trade Garland now because they tried to do it for KD. It didn't work out. So unless there's somebody of that ilk out there, like unless it's... No, Boston can't even participate in this trade. So there's nobody with that name right now that will want to make them push Garland out. But I can see a trade happening during the trade deadline if things are not looking good in Cleveland. If they're not like overwhelmingly the number one seed, which they should be the number one seed in the East by far. If they're not the number one seed in the East, or if it's looking like they just don't they can't play well together for some reason this year, he's getting moved. Without a doubt, he's getting moved. They have the same timeline, 4 years, 4 years, but I'm pretty sure Donovan Mitchell has a player option, right? Yeah, in that same last year. So they're gonna want to move Garland because Donovan Mitchell's the one who's better for the team, and he has the potential to leave. So they'll be stuck with Garland, and it just won't work. It just won't work for them. So it's gonna be interesting year, man. This is gonna be an interesting year, bro. Just looking at everything and how everything transpired. I think it mainly pops off this way because if Boston would have somehow if Tatum would have never got injured and Boston would have just went back to the finals this year against OKC or against any team in the West, you wouldn't even really be having these discussions because then it'd have been still like powerhouse type of vibe. This finals gave the whole entire league a feel of anybody can make it, which is crazy to say because OKC had the best record in the entire NBA this year, and they won the chip. So it kind of sounds like they should win, but they're young. So them being young means they're beatable. Now Shea is MVP. Jalen Williams is potentially a future MVP type of player. Chet is great as well. Like they have a good roster, but they can't be beat. They can't be beat. They're young. They can be beat in the playoffs, and any team, any good given team can try to go out and do it. And Indiana showed that. So any team in the East right now that thinks they have a chance, they probably want to go and take it. To be completely honest, and that's where Orlando showed that by making that big trade. New York, they're gonna want to go for it. Milwaukee can't afford to. With Dame being out, just having Giannis there and they're 10 mil over the tax line, they can't even afford to do it. Pat Connaughton picked up his player option, so he's still 9 mil on the books. Yeah, they're gonna have to move. They're gonna have to move Kuzma. They have to trade Giannis, bro. It's really weird to say, unless the Milwaukee owners is gonna have to just say, "Yo, I'm cooked. I have to pay out all this money and just hold the L." It's just looking like that's what he has to do. Either you hold the L or you trade Giannis. Or can they trade Dame injured? Can you trade Dame injured? But Dame is making 48 mil. Where the hell do you trade him for? Wait, how much was Cleveland? Can they do this? Uh, mm, Damn, they still can't do it with that. They don't have no like exceptions or anything like that. Yeah, they can't even trade Dame. Wait, this is Kuzma and Connaughton. Yeah, I'm tripping. I'm just trying to see if like who could Milwaukee try to trade Dame for, but I don't. It's looking like they can't trade Dame. Imagine that's what Boston does. Wait, could they do that? No, because the Celtics are so far over. The Celtics can't even make no straight up trade like that. Um, Damn. Dame is not even tradable this year. Wait, how much money does Charlotte have? I didn't even look at Charlotte. Charlotte are 3 mil under. What about Chicago? 4 mil. What about Detroit? Fontecchio, he doesn't even get minutes. Wow. They can actually do that. But, I mean, they lose a playable player because Jaden Ivey, he's going to come back healthy. Fontecchio, I don't even think he really gets many minutes anyway. And then Tobias, they'll lose a forward. So, but the Pistons could trade for Dame. He won't be playing most of the season, but they could do it. And this will help Milwaukee because then they'll be under the tax. Huh. We're still slightly over. I didn't think that would go through. Wow. I don't see that happening. I mean, because you got Dame and Cade, move Cade to the 2. I mean, Dame won't be playing in the beginning, but Cade at the 2 with Damian Lillard on the court don't even sound that bad. That's interesting. That's interesting. When does Cade's money take into effect? Oh, this season. Oh, they have to make a trade. The Pistons are smoking dick. They need to make a trade. They need to do something. Cade's money's about to flip, bro. You need to make that choice now and to get a contract that goes with this timeline. Now I'm like, cause Dame has a player option that year, so that actually wouldn't be a bad pickup for them. Cause they pick up Dame for the 58 mil, and it looks like they'll put themselves in a bad position because of that. But Dame most likely is going to decline that player option. He's not staying with Milwaukee for this entire time. He's going to decline his player option. This is the most money he can get, yes, but if he wants to win a chip, which Dame made the trade, he said, yeah, y'all trade me to win. He's going to decline his player option to leave leave his team options to make more money, to sign more players, to add more stuff for them. So I can see Pistons making a big move this draft and trying to go get Dame. But the thing is, Milwaukee doesn't get much from that. I just really feel like they lose out on either one. Like Dame or Giannis has to get traded this year for Milwaukee to bounce back in whatever they want to do. Problem with this thing is you trading Dame for no picks because Pistons don't have any picks this year. I don't know which future picks they have, but they don't have any picks this year. So what other places? Who else got money? That's what I need to see is who else got money. Brooklyn. They got a little bit. They don't have a lot. They got a little bit. They can probably go to the second apron though. Did I check Chicago already? For Indiana. How much money they got? They actually have space for another player, which is kind of crazy. Because they don't have anybody to pay off, right? Except Mathurin? Maybe? Yeah, Miles Turner's not coming back. They got Halliburton on the max for a while. Siakam, he's wrapped up. Mathurin, they can give him a qualifying offer. They don't even have to pay him this year. They don't worry about that next year. Jerace is going to be there. Isaiah Jackson's going to get the qualifying offer. Yeah, Indiana actually can afford to, and their capital is going to probably go up because they just made it to the finals. Indiana can afford to sign somebody. They can't afford to sign somebody. So they're probably going to do that. I don't think they get Dame, but they can afford to sign somebody. Miami, where Dame originally wanted to go, they can't take him. They don't even have money. Well, 20 mil. Yeah. And Duncan. About Wiggins. Oh, wow. That worked. Miami can trade Wiggins and Rozier for Dame. I'm actually surprised that some of these trades work. What? So you tell me Miami Ben could have got Dame? Well, no, they traded Wiggins for Jimmy. So essentially, this would have been Jimmy for Dame. Yeah. Philly, Toronto, Washington. Washington don't have as much money as I thought they would. How much money does Toronto have? Toronto still has a little bit of money. They probably trade quickly. Wait, Dame for quickly? 9. Who would they want to include in this, though? I don't know. Dallas, Denver. How much money Denver got? Damn, Denver is over? Oh, Denver has to trade MPJ. Yo, this is going to get interesting. Denver is over the line, too? Man. Clippers are under. What about us? Oh, damn. Are we 17 mil over? Oh, we have to make moves. Well, we just sold the team though, so we should be fine. We just sold the team. We're gonna be fine. Yeah. We don't even need to do anything. We just sold the team. The Dodgers guy took over. Lakers is fine. And all y'all broke niggas out here. We ain't broke over here though. Memphis. Oh my God. Let me change this real quick. How the hell is Minnesota 30 mil over the tax line? They're more over the tax line than Boston. Nas Reed has a player option. That's the end of his contract. Wow. Now that's crazy. That is malpractice. To end up that far over there. What? Oh. This is about to be one of the craziest off seasons ever, I think. We thought this season, the NBA 2024 to 2025 season had the craziest NBA trades and a trade deadline, the craziest trade deadline ever. I think this might be the craziest off season. Might, because it's looking real it's looking real nuts for some of these teams. What about the Pelicans? They're under, surprisingly. I think trading CJ was good for them. OKC got room. OKC got room to upgrade. Yeah. Phoenix. Good God. Oh my goodness. With their new additions, they have to do that. Yeah, they have to trade Bill. Bill has to wait his... Bill's making 50 mil, though. How they gonna trade Bill? The only reasonable trade, not even reasonable. Like, the only thing I can see happening is this. How much money y'all gotta cover? Oh, of course. Man, cover it. Y'all gonna have Tobias. 18? Okay. Y'all can take Stewart, too. Wow. That worked. Bradley Beal to the Pistons? Mm-hmm. That's the only, way that happens and works for them. Because the Suns are 40... The Suns, the Celtics, and the Timberwolves have to make trades. They're the three teams that must move off. Because look at how much they... Matt Ishbia, he already came in, and he's probably been paying out of pocket since he bought the team. To keep it a buck. Like, he been in a negative with the team since he bought the team. But there are a lot of teams. Those three teams are must teams. Like, they have to. Yeah, that's crazy. Utah also has available options here. Actually, I know Bill wouldn't waive his no trade clause for this, but you can trade them two straight up. You can just do Bill for marketing and Jaylen Green with D-Book. That doesn't make them good, but it's something. It's something. I mean, Bill has a player option somewhere in this, right? Yeah, so you would only essentially have Bradley Beal for 1 year unless he takes the player option. And even then, Utah Utah dead has the room for that. They don't have any big contracts. So the year that Bradley Beal could pick up his player option, you still have everybody potentially on their rookie deals. And I doubt they'll pay every single one of these guys. So Utah, that's probably why Bradley Beal didn't want to waive his no trade clause, because he was looking at the landscape. Like, there's not a lot of teams that can probably accept me or that I'd be willing to do anyway. Like, his options right now are Phoenix or Utah, Detroit, and wherever else. I don't know how else players. I mean, other teams are willing. What they're willing to do, but shoot, I didn't cooked up some trades, man. I didn't cooked up some trades, so I'll catch you guys later on tomorrow. I'll catch you guys early tomorrow when we discuss and go over the impact of the draft and what potential what trades happen. If we can talk about it. We also got free agency coming up in the future too, so we're gonna see, man. We're gonna